When I'm out skiing or hiking in the summertime, one of the more popular things are to carry energy bars with you or Clif bars. And they're okay. After a while, they can get a little bit tiring. I have a recipe for a homemade energy snack that I really like, and I'd like to show you today how I make it. And the ingredients are fairly simple. It's basically whole oats, sugar, has some cranberries in it, salt, pure vanilla extract, a little bit of coffee, some milk powder, some peanut butter, and some cocoa. Now, in order to do this recipe, you're going to need a scale. All my measurements are in grams. I find that's the easiest way to get consistent results and also to provide accurate nutrition information. So everything here will be in grams. We're going to start out with a large mixing bowl. This is going to be heated in the microwave, so make sure it's microwave safe. And we're going to start with 300 grams of sugar. And to that, we're going to add 45 grams of cocoa powder. This essentially is cocoa. It's unsweetened. One teaspoon of some instant coffee. You can add more if you like the flavor of coffee, less if you don't like coffee at all. And then we have 30 grams of milk powder. This happens to be a whole milk powder. Next is a half teaspoon of salt. If you're sensitive to salt, you can leave this out. So what we want to do is mix this up well here as dry ingredients. It makes it easier to incorporate the water. Now next we're going to add 200 grams of warm water. And let's mix this up well. Make sure we get that coffee dissolved. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to put it in the microwave. And we're going to cook it on high for 4 minutes. And we're going to stir it once. It's about halfway through. It's just starting to bubble. We're going to give it just another stir. Okay, you can see that it's bubbled and the sugar now is well dissolved in the liquid. We're going to pull it out and continue on. Now to this mixture, we're going to add 220 grams of peanut butter. Now we're just going to take the whisk and incorporate it into this hot liquid. And we have a tablespoon of vanilla extract. Then we're going to pop that back in the microwave and put it on high for 3 minutes, stirring once. Okay, it should be nice and bubbly at this point and should be smelling good, and we'll continue on. Well, next is the oats. Since I'm using old-fashioned whole oats, I'm going to go ahead and measure out 370 grams, and I'm going to put them into a Vitamix blender, and we're going to chop them up. Now the idea here is to essentially chop these whole oats down to a much finer consistency. I'll go ahead and chop these down a little ways, and then I'll add these dried cranberries in, and then I'll chop those up, and I'll show you what we end up with. Okay, it's starting to grind it up pretty well. Let's go ahead and add the cranberries in. And now let's get those chopped up and incorporated. Now this may look a little finer than it really is. I like to grind it down to where the oats are about a cornmeal flour consistency. And you can see the little bits of cranberries that are chopped up in there. Now it's just a matter of adding these to the mix. And let's stir those in and get them incorporated. Now I'm going to put this back in the microwave for 3 more minutes and cook it on high, stirring once. I like to cook it one more time, and what that does, it takes a little bit of the raw edge off of the oats. About halfway through, I'm going to give this a stir. So we're all done with the cooking at this point. It's still pretty hot, so be careful. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to portion it out with a number 40 cookie scoop. Now at this point, they're cool enough to touch. And I'm going to take each one of these and I'm just going to form it into a kind of a small little patty shape. Now these are still warm and they're still fairly soft. And what I like to do is let them set out on the counter for a good hour or so. It helps the flavors blend together. And then what I'll do is I'll put them in the freezer, not because they need to be in the freezer, but what it does is it hardens them up. And once they're frozen, then you can package them into, you don't have to wrap them individually. You can put them into a Ziploc bag. And then when you go hiking, you can just pull 3 out. Three of these little cookies as a serving. So we've got 38 little cookie patties.